Hi movers, welcome to Stretch and Relax. I hope you're feeling good, and after this hopefully you're going to feel a little bit looser. The mind and body hopefully will feel a little calmer and relaxed as well. So for this class, make sure you've got some space. If you want to use a mat or just something comfortable that you can be on the floor on, that would be really good. And then if you have blocks, you could have 2 blocks for this class. And if you don't have blocks, you could use hardback books or something that you know is sturdy that you could put a bit of weight on. It just helps us to raise the ground up a little bit. Also, if you have a bolster or a large cushion of some kind, that might be really comfortable as well for you to rest on, to also be able to relax the limbs a little bit more and the spine onto that and put a little bit of weight on that. So you have a few little options there if you'd like some props and things to help, but you can also just use bits and bobs that you might have in your living room or in your space. Make sure you listen to your body. If anything starts to feel very uncomfortable, try and come out of that pose, that stretch, and just take your time. Remember to take some nice deep breaths. You could always pop your favourite songs on instead if you want your favourite tunes in the background, or you could just do a little bit of this class and pause and start, things like that. But I hope you feel really good, and I will see you soon. We're just going to take some nice big hip circles. You might get a few little clicks and creaks while you're here. You can also kind of roll on your feet a little bit, kind of around the edges of the foot, into the ball of the foot a little bit, and then you can move as much or as little as you want with the torso. And then when you're ready, just start taking that in the other direction, just getting a little bit of warmth and circulation into the hips, into the lower back. And take some nice deep breaths while you're there. Lovely. Take a big sweep up and just bending the knees, dropping the chest, reaching all the way up and then all the way out. We do the same again 2 or 3 more times. Feel that reach all the way to the fingertips. Lovely stuff. We're now going to make a big circle with the leg. So the knee circles, and then take a long lunge. Make that circle as big as you want and make the step as big as you want, then send the hips away. Should feel a nice stretch, kind of inner thigh, outer hip a little bit. Big deep breaths. It might feel a little clunky, a little creaky. You can always hold on to something as well if you need. Nice. And then when you're ready, just start that on the other side. Get your balance for those big circles and a nice big lunge. Lovely stuff. One more there. And then we're going to stay low in that lunge, reach the fingertips forwards, and then just gently move from one leg to the other. Nice. If that reach starts to feel a little uncomfortable in the shoulders or the back, you can always pop hands on the hips, or even take it out to the side. You also could start moving the arms. So as you go to one side, take the fingertips behind you, and then as you go to the other side, reach ahead and get a little movement into the shoulders. Nice. We're going to take a little fold here with the wide legs, and this is where you might want some blocks or something just to raise the floor. And you're going to hinge yourself forwards, and then you can pop your hands on the blocks. You've got different heights, same if you're using books and things. And the aim is to keep back of the legs quite long, but the chest and the head heavy and relaxed. And that's why bringing the ground up a little bit can just take away any strain. Take some big deep breaths here. And you can play around with your weight a little bit, like if you want to rock forwards into your toes a bit more, or if you want to put your weight further back into your heels, you'll just notice a difference in where you feel that stretch along the back of the legs. And we're staying nice and wide in the hope that then you can get a little further forwards. And if you find a kind of optimal position, see if you want to then just stay there nice and still for about 5 deep breaths. Maybe you're breathing in and out through the nose, in through the nose, out through the mouth, or through the mouth, Whatever works for you today. You can also take cleansing exhales so that you can make a big noise like a sigh or yawn, if that helps. You might find that you can take your forearms down to your blocks or to the floor. When you get to around that 5th exhale, really soften those knees and then start to roll up through the spine. You can probably leave your props and things down there. Take your time to come up so that your head comes up last, and then maybe bring your feet a little bit closer. And just take a few gentle shoulder rubs. Keep the knees really soft. We're just going to take ear to shoulder and a little light press on the side of the head. And you could push down with the other hand if you wanted to, just to increase that stretch on the side. Then looking on the diagonal kind of towards the armpit, you can hold the back of the head here. Again, you could have that little push. Big deep breaths. And then we carry up and over the other side. Ear towards the shoulder, then a gentle press down if you want. Onto that diagonal. Just feel that nice stretch on the back of the neck now, into the top of the shoulder. You might even be able to feel it all the way down, top of the arm. And then rock the chin to the chest. Keep those knees really bent still, maybe interlace the fingers behind and draw the elbows down. And you get that nice stretch across the top of the back and spread the shoulder blades. On your next inhale, open the elbows, open the chest, lift the gaze. And then as you exhale, round the back and draw the elbows together. Nice big deep breaths. The slower you breathe, the slower you can move. Lovely stuff. And if you want to make it bigger, you can press the arms out as you inhale, lift the gaze, and then you can round like you're hugging a big beach ball as you exhale. So like a bit of a standing cat-cow, getting loads of movement into the spine and the shoulders and the hips. Big deep breaths. Lovely. That next exhale, let the arms float down and gently start to roll up till you get back to the top. And when you're ready, you start taking those little hip circles again. Hopefully now they might be a little bit less creaky and clicky. And then gently the other way. Take the feet nice and wide, taking your lunge to one side. Again, maybe moving the arms if you want, forwards or back, or even in circles, or pop them on your hips, whatever feels nice. Maybe finding a little more space between the legs, maybe going a little lower now. Lovely stuff. We're then going to take that hinge forwards, maybe using your books or your blocks or something if you need, or maybe now comfortably touching the floor, keeping the legs long and then letting the head and the chest relax down. Feel that lovely stretch in the back of the legs. This time as well, you could play around with the kind of turn that in your hip if you want to have toes pointing forwards or toes pointing to the corners. See how that makes a difference for the backs of the legs now. Perhaps you can take your forearms down to your blocks, to your books, or maybe to the floor. Maybe even your head is resting on something. Around 5 more big deep breaths here. when you come to the end of those kind of 5 or 6 breaths. You could use a block if you wanted to. And we're going to take a twist. So one arm is staying low and long, and then one arm is reaching up. So you get a twist in the waist and the shoulders. Play around with the heights of your props if you need. Gently relax down so you can switch over to the other side. Again, relaxing down, opening back onto that first side. Feel that length as you reach up out of the fingertips. Open the chest. Big deep breaths. Gently floating down. And opening second side. Gently fold down and then soften the knees and start to roll up through the spine. Maybe bring the feet a little closer. Making sure the head comes up last. Maybe a few little shoulder rolls at the top. I'm going to go long ways now. I'm going to pop the feet under your hips, and if you need it, you could put the blocks and things just in front of your feet. We're going to roll down through the spine and focus on the backs of the legs. So by having the legs a little closer, you might not be able to fold as far forwards, but just take your time. Rolling down, and then maybe popping the hands on the blocks, on the books, whatever you might need. And then again, playing around with that weight. If you're kind of shifting the weight forwards into the toes, or back into the heels, or maybe having this gentle rock. And we're trying to keep the backs of the legs really long. You can have a little softness to your knees, but make sure you can really feel that nice deep stretch into the hamstrings. Then take a bend into the knees, let the chest hang on and press onto the thighs, and then hold the elbows. So this is like your ragdoll position. And that pull of the elbows just helps gravity to pull you down a little more. Get a bigger stretch across the backs of the shoulders. Lovely stuff. Maybe take a nod of the head, the shake of the head, the swing of the arms, anything that kind of encourages a little bit more depth in the stretch and relaxation in the joints and the muscles. And then let those arms go and lengthen the legs again. So find length again, maybe pressing down on your blocks. Maybe you're quite comfortably pressing your hands down onto your mat. Maybe think about spreading the fingertips and pressing. If you're quite comfortable in your fold, you could always pop a block or something behind the heels and hold on to that, and then fold in more to the legs. Lovely stuff. Just making sure you've got space in front of you so that you can walk your hands out to find a downward dog position. So the hips are staying high, making a little pointy triangle, and then lifting up onto the toes, and then gently pressing the heels back down. So you can just rock a bit more weight into your hands as you lift the heels, and then gently press down. Nice, then take it into a pedal. So one knee bends and one heel comes off, the other leg stays long. And then gently switch. Go at whatever pace works best for you. Maybe you need a little longer on one side than the other. If you've been moving quite quickly, maybe now just go a little slower, sink into one side for 1 or 2 breaths and then switch. then lengthening both legs, take 3 to 5 deep breaths, finding some stillness. Pressing down through the palms, then the chest feel heavy and pressing through the shoulders and heels pressing down to the mat. And then when you're ready, rest the knees down, send the hips back and relax down in your child's pose. Let your pelvis feel really heavy here and your hips sink down towards the heels. And then play around with how far you want to reach with those fingertips to feel that nice stretch along the back of the shoulders. Gently take both arms to one side of your mat, maybe even pop one on top of the other. And feel that kind of banana shape down the side of the body. A little stretch into the waist. And gently over to the other side. Back into the center. And then we're going to gently lift our hips. Keep the hips high and reach the fingertips and then drop the chest. This is in your puppy pose. So your hips are staying lifted and then drop the chest in the middle. Get a deeper stretch across the back of the shoulders, under the armpits. Wonderful stuff. We're going to gently make our way onto our bottoms. So just take your time. Keep your props and bits nearby. I'm just going to do a little bit of mobility work into the hips. So we're going to start by just holding one leg and giving the hip a little kind of wiggle and shake. Might be that you're holding kind of thigh and foot. You could wrap the arms around. You also could pop foot into the crease of the elbow, knee into the other elbow crease, and then have your little rock like a baby with your leg. Keeping the spine nice and long, keeping the chest open. Nice deep breaths. And then gently holding onto the foot with the opposite hand, just going to reach the leg forwards. I'm going to just turn slightly this way. Don't have a foot towards you. Maybe taking that back arm back and looking over the shoulder, get a big twist. And then gently back in and return to your little rock and roll. Thinking about the spine being long and then the leg being close to you as much as you can, so you get this big stretch down into the glutes and the hip. Let me just shimmy back a bit. And then you're going to pop that top leg on top of the other one, aiming for the foot to go on the floor and then to sit both sit bones down. Feel nice and tall. You might already be able to feel a bit of a stretch here. And then you could hug that front knee a little closer, and if you want to, take the hand behind you, have a little rotation behind. You could also pop a block or something behind you if you need a little extra height for the hand. Big deep breaths and breathing about dropping the pelvis and the sit bones down. And then keeping the legs as they are, gently just switch the arms, and this time bring the arm on the inside of the leg and take the rotation the other way. Big deep breaths. gently recovering. The top leg is now going to go behind you. So this front one, kind of stay where it is, and you pop the other one behind you. It might be that you then want to shift to more of like a 90-90, and then just make sure you've got your pelvis nice and heavy again. This might feel like enough, or you could start hinging forwards. You could also use a cushion or a bolster or your blocks if you want to raise the ground a bit, and then relax forwards. It could be for the forearms, it could be for the head. Lovely stuff, movers, and just take your time. As you inhale, think about lengthening the spine, and as you exhale, think about deepening that stretch. Letting the chest feel heavy on top of the thigh. Maybe you want to reach the arms a little further. Take about 5 more big deep breaths here on this side. And when you're ready, gently start to walk the hands in and roll up through the spine. And then maybe taking a few little window wipers just to massage the bum. Give the hips a little wiggle, and then we'll do everything on the other side. So you're going to start the other leg now. You could always have this one long as well. Sorry, I didn't say that. If you need. And you just start with that little rock and roll. Now, the 2 legs might feel a little different. So just be mindful of how this side feels. If you want to rock the baby or not. How tall you can keep that spine. Nice deep breaths. And then holding onto the foot with the opposite hand, lengthen the leg away. And then maybe looking behind for that nice rotation. Lovely deep breaths. We bring it back in and we start rocking again. Maybe a little bit more movement in the hip this time. Maybe the legs a little closer to the body. Nice. We're then going to pop that foot down, crossing it over, and then sitting the sit bones down. Nice deep breaths. When you're ready, give that leg a little hug and squeeze, and then maybe turning behind you for the rotation. Lovely. We gently recover back to the middle. Swap the arms over, bring it on the inside and turning the other way. Gently back to center. We're then going to take that leg behind us. Maybe finding 90-90. Have a little wiggle for the hips, and then when you're ready, start to hinge forwards, maybe grabbing some props, cushions, whatever you need, so you can then relax down. Notice if anything feels different on this side compared to the other side. Again, inhaling to lengthen, exhaling to deepen your stretch. Around 5 more breaths here. And when you're ready, gently walking the hands back in. Cover and then you can pop those feet in front and go back to those little window wipers. Hopefully hips are feeling a little looser now. Lovely. We're going to go onto our knees. So if you find like a 4-point kneel, and you could always pop a cushion under your knees or fold your mat if you need a little extra cushioning. And then if you want to use your blocks, they might be quite handy here. And they're kind of just in front of you. And then you step 1 foot forwards and then adjust the blocks as you need. And we're going into this low, kind of low lunge position. Keeping our feet on train tracks. And then the blocks can be there just to raise the ground. So that can help you just keep the chest quite lifted. And then you want to just really sink into the hip. Nice deep breaths. And it might be that after a bit of time you can adjust the height of the block, or maybe even move them to one side and pop the hands down. We're then going to tuck the back toes and lengthen. So we want to try and keep the ankle and the knee in line here. Again, you could use the blocks. Dropping this hip. And then we're going to lift and bring that back leg a little closer to have 2 long legs. And again, it might be that you want the blocks back or something there, just to help. And you want to keep the spine nice and long, back of the legs long and toes pointing forwards. And then as you exhale, maybe folding in and just increasing that stretch on the back of the front leg. Adjusting your props whenever you need. You could even play around with holding that front kind of ankle shin space. And then we're going to take ourselves slowly back to that 4-point kneel position so that we can then start on the other side. Take your time. When you're ready, step the other foot forwards, keeping those hips nice and square, and then dropping that other hip this time. And again, just trying to keep the knee and the ankle aligned here, and the spine long. A nice heavy pelvis. Tucking the back toes, lengthening that back leg, but keeping that weight forward, so keeping that leg aligned, keeping the spine nice and long here, and then drop pelvis. Lovely stuff. Soften that back knee, and then step in and lengthen both legs. Maybe grab bits and pieces again if you need. And then maybe folding in to that front leg a little more. Maybe taking the hands kind of around the ankle or the shin. And then this time we're going to bring both feet under the hips and go back to that ragdoll. So bend the knees, rest the chest, hold the elbows. And hopefully now you feel like you can get a little bit lower, find a little more length in the back of the legs. Big deep breath. Then see if you want to just play around with lengthening the legs and folding in a little bit more. Maybe let the arms flop down. Lovely stuff. We're then going to make our way back down to the mat. and lying down on our backs. Keep your bits and pieces nearby. And we're just going to start by hugging the knees into the chest. Have a little gentle rock side to side, just massage that lower part of the back. And then start drawing some big juicy circles. So one knee in each hand. It might feel a little clicky, a little creaky, but hopefully a little smoother than when we first started with those hip circles. And then gently start going the other way. Notice if you've got any differences on one side to the other. And then we're going to keep one knee close, extend the other leg away. Give it a little squeeze, draw the knee a little closer to the chest. And then as you exhale, see if you could just kind of loosen that squeeze but keep the leg close. Take a few deep breaths here. The other hip stays nice and heavy down towards the mat. Relax that other leg, relax the chest and shoulders. We're then going to carry this leg across the body. Now, you might want a block or a cushion or something just to rest your knee on. So you want to just raise the ground a little bit here so that you can keep the opposite shoulder attached to your mat. So just have a play around with what you might need there. If your knee can comfortably relax on the floor and your shoulders down, then that's really nice. You can stay there. If you need a little bit of extra lift, use your props and things. We're going to be here for a little while. So we want this top leg to be as relaxed as possible. We've got this big twist in the hip and the spine, and then looking out over the other shoulder. And it could be that you extend that arm away and look out over the shoulder. Really melting the shoulders down onto the mat. Feel this big twist, and it might be that as you exhale and you start to feel more comfortable, you can adjust your props, you can move things away. And if you want to add a little bit extra for your legs, you could reach down to the bottom foot. So bend at the knee, reach down to the bottom foot, called catching your tail. And then once you're connected there, relax the shoulder back down. You can keep the twist going, and then you get a little extra stretch for the front of that thigh. You get my words out? Keep checking in, and if you want to adjust the props again, adjust your shape in any way. And our last option today is if you want to, you could extend that top leg, maybe holding big toe with the fingers. Big deep breaths. We're then going to gently start to unravel everything and gently bring yourself back into the middle. Maybe another little hug, a little rock and roll. You might feel a little lopsided. Don't worry. You're going to get going on the other side. So bring the knee into the chest, second side. Give it a hug and a squeeze and let that other leg lengthen away. Hip nice and relaxed, leg nice and heavy. Feel that tight squeeze and then try and relax it off, but keep the leg close. And then when you're ready, gently taking that leg across the body, maybe stacking your blocks or your cushions or something so you can relax that knee down, and then looking out over the shoulder for a twist on the other side. Feel really heavy with each exhale, melting down into the mat. taking blocks and props and things away if you need at any point. And then if you want to, maybe reaching down, catching the tail on this second side, bending the underneath leg, reaching for the foot, and then relaxing the shoulders back down. And then last bit, if you want to reach for that top leg and extend. Big deep breaths here. And then gently start to unravel. Draw yourself back in for another little. We're going to take a happy baby here. So start by just opening the knees towards the armpits. And maybe just hold on to the back of your thighs. And think about connecting the top of your head all the way down to your tailbone so that all of your spine is touching your mat or floor. And then start lifting the feet. And it might be that that's where you want to stop today. And we're thinking kind of soles of the feet flat to the ceiling, but keeping the pelvis attached. And then you could take the hands a little higher, kind of shins, ankles, or maybe around the inside of the legs and then the outside of the feet. And that might help you just draw the knees down. We're thinking kind of flat to the tops of the thighs to the mat and then flat to the feet to the ceiling. And big deep breaths. We store lots of emotion in our hips. So we want to try and release any tension here, help us kind of navigate those emotions. Maybe you even want a little rock kind of side to side, maybe stretching one leg then the other. On your next exhale, maybe drawing those knees a little closer. And then gently letting go of the shape. And we're just going to rock ourselves up. Take your time. You could roll onto your side first. And if you've got a bolster or a cushion, just going to have a little stretch into the back before we finish. So you can pop this kind of horizontally. And you can start by just resting the tops of the shoulders, maybe opening the elbows or opening the arms, just having a little stretch kind of into the upper back. Or it might be that you want the bolster or the cushion to be a little lower, and you create more of an arch over the shape. And just kind of work out where you'd like your stretch to be. You can always pop something under your head if you're kind of rolling over. Maybe it's a good time to kind of open the chest, open the shoulders, and then feel that lovely bend in the spine. You can play around with your legs, knees up, knees knocked in, maybe a butterfly, or maybe even long legs. I'm just taking a few breaths here. If you're quite comfortable, maybe stay a little longer. If you've got a long bolster or a long shape, it might be that you want to try just turning it the other way around, maybe lying completely on top, or keeping the pelvis down and then lying and letting the rib cage kind of relax over the sides. Try to close down those eyes. Slow your breathing rate down. Big inhales, big exhales. Maybe seeing if the exhale can be a little longer. Might be if you quite like counting, it could be that you kind of count 4 in and then try 6 or 8 out, something like that. If you like using breath mantras, you could use those. whilst thinking about your breath, just give yourself a little body scan, just check in with how each part of the body's feeling. Maybe you're starting at the crown of your head and working down, or maybe you're starting at your toes and working up. And with each exhale, just trying to relax a little bit more. Then you're very welcome to stay where you are, or if you want to make any adjustments just for one final position, please do whatever's going to feel the most comfortable for you. Maybe you're just resting your head on something, maybe you want to lie on your side. Have a few seconds to fidget, and then once you feel happy, try and surrender to the stillness. Just thinking about your breath, or maybe continuing with that body scan. Take 5 big inhales and exhales here. Slowly, deeply, maybe taking some cleansing exhales, make an audible sound if that's working for you. Lost count, don't worry. If you're somewhere close to that 5th or 6th exhale, gently make your way onto your side if you're not there already, and find like a small fetal position, maybe using something as a little cushion under the head or the hands. Just let the pelvis feel a little heavier, keeping the eyes closed down. And then gently making your way back to a seated position, pressing down with the hands to lift you up. Maybe taking a few little shoulder rolls once you're at the top. Gently let one ear float over to the shoulder, to one side. As you inhale, lift it up. As you exhale, float over to the other side. And again, up and over when you're ready. One last side, and then rolling chin to chest, and then gently lift the head, stack the head right on top of the spine, lengthen and lift, lots of energy out the crown of your head. Take a big inhale, reach the arms all the way up. We breathe in all the good, let them float down as we let go of any bad. Thank you so much, movers. Thank you so much for moving with me. I really hope you enjoyed your stretch and relax session, and I hope to see you again on my screen very soon. Take a look at our other classes and things, and maybe I'll see you somewhere sunny for a retreat, or maybe in person in the studio. Sending all the love. Thank you, movers.